We live in interesting times. Today's stories. Forest fires rage in Indonesia's Sumatra. Mosquito trials raise hopes of defeating dengue. In Mexico, a monthly market to exchange recyclable trash for food. India's Modi says the world should say goodbye to single-use plastic. A huge crowd takes Hong Kong protest message to the U.S. consulate. Iran's IAEA ambassador accuses the U.S. and Israel of a plot. Mexico's foreign minister downplays risk of a clash with the U.S. after a dialogue with President Trump. Plus, looking back on 9/11, we will take you to the reflecting pools in New York, standing on the footprints of the Twin Towers. And Apple unveils the iPhone 11 and says Apple TV Plus to launch on November 1. This is Eagle News broadcasting from Las Vegas, bringing you stories from around the globe. I'm Anna Clee. Indonesia is battling forest fires in Sumatra Island as toxic smog shut down hundreds of schools in Southeast Asia. Malaysia has stepped up pressure on neighboring Indonesia to tackle huge blazes tearing through its rainforests and smothering Southeast Asia in smog, as fires typically started to clear land for crops and diplomatic tensions soaring. Burning forests to make way for farming is also thought to be behind the enormous fires currently ripping through the Amazon in South America, and experts believe they could have a serious impact on the global climate. According to a statement, Malaysian Environment Minister Yeo Bee Yin expressed concerns about the impact of the smog and offered assistance to Jakarta to fight the fires during a meeting with Indonesian officials Tuesday. An official in Sarawak State on Borneo, where air quality dropped to very unhealthy levels this week, was less diplomatic, demanding Indonesia send face masks and medical supplies to Malaysia for those affected by the pollution. Sarawak Deputy Chief Minister James Massing was cited as saying by the Malay Mail News portal on Wednesday, quote, "Until they suffer economically, they will not take our complaints seriously. The Indonesian government must bear the full brunt of responsibility of the haze in Sarawak." Air quality also plummeted to unhealthy levels in Kuala Lumpur this week as toxic smog drifted in and shrouded the skyline, while over 400 schools were closed in the Malaysian part of Borneo due to the smoke. Borneo shared between Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. Despite the pressure from its neighbor, Indonesia insisted Wednesday the smog in Malaysia was caused by fires there. A statement from the Environment Ministry and Weather Agency said the number of hotspots, areas of intense heat detected by satellite which typically indicate fires, in peninsular Malaysia had risen significantly. However, the Malaysian Environment Ministry referred journalists to information on hotspots published by the Singapore-based ASEAN Specialized Meteorological Center. According to the center, there were 861 hotspots on Indonesian Borneo in the Indonesian island of Sumatra as of September 10, and just 7 in the whole Malaysia. Indonesia has deployed thousands of security forces who are fighting a desperate battle against the blazes, which have reduced once verdant areas of forest to charred wastelands and darkened the skies with acrid smoke. Indonesian forest fires are an annual problem during the dry season, but this year's are the worst since 2015, when the region was choked by toxic smoke for weeks. Hundreds dead in the Philippines, a threefold increase of cases in Vietnam, hospitals overrun in Malaysia, Myanmar, and Cambodia. Dengue is ravaging Southeast Asia this year, due in part to rising temperatures and low immunity to new strains. But one group of scientists is rolling out trials to breed dengue-resistant bugs in a bid to tackle one of the world's leading mosquito-borne illnesses, raising hopes the untreatable disease can finally be beaten. The World Mosquito Program, or WMP, has pioneered a method where male and female Aedes aegypti mosquitoes are infected with a disease-resistant bacteria called Wolbachia before being released into the wild. In a matter of weeks, baby mosquitoes are born carrying Wolbachia, which acts as a disease buffer for the bugs, making it harder for them to pass on not only dengue, but Zika, chikungunya, and yellow fever. First trialed in northern Australia, it's been tested in 9 countries around the globe, including in Vietnam, where early results are promising. Wen Min Wen, project coordinator for WMP in Nha Trang, explained, quote, "We have seen a remarkable reduction of dengue cases after the release." His team set free around 500,000 Wolbachia-infected mosquitoes last year in Vinh Long, a crowded dengue-prone district in southern Vietnam. Since the trials, dengue cases are down 86% in Vinh Long compared to nearby resort town Nha Trang. Residents have long subscribed to the official motto, "No mosquitoes, no larvae, no dengue," to avoid the virus, dubbed breakbone fever because of its severe flu-like symptoms. Dengue is passed along to humans by infected mosquitoes, which thrive in crowded, hot, and humid neighborhoods. According to an AFP tally of National and World Health Organization data, cases have surged not only in Vietnam this year, but across Southeast Asia, with around 670,000 infected and more than 1,800 people dead in the region. Experts say it's the worst outbreak in years. Warmer weather is one factor. Temperatures in July 2019 were the hottest ever recorded globally, and mosquitoes love hot weather, coupled with the introduction of new dengue strains that have spread among populations with no immunity. Long-term trends are also at play: breakneck urbanization in Asian megacities, a massive increase in international travel and trade, and the cyclical nature of outbreaks. Rachel Lowe, assistant professor at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, said, quote, "That creates the perfect ingredients for the dengue epidemic to happen." Even the widespread use of plastics has contributed, as things like garden pots and takeout containers collect water. They create perfect breeding pools for mosquitoes. Thousands of people line up at a market in Mexico's capital to exchange bags full of recyclable trash for fresh food from local producers, an initiative by the government held each month to raise awareness about the need to separate waste.
Para no estarlo tirando a la basura, o no estarlo tirando a la calle como se dice vulgarmente, porque incluso hasta las cajitas de la medicina es cartón.
Y entonces es un trueque, ¿no? En lo que aprendemos a separar los residuos, aprendemos a no juntarlos, de esa manera dejamos de hacer basura, no juntamos lo orgánico con lo inorgánico, además los mantenemos limpios y evitamos que todos estos materiales lleguen a los tiraderos o a los rellenos sanitarios.
El consumir localmente lo que hay dentro de nuestra ciudad y nuestras comunidades, y aparte el comercio justo que se lleva dentro del mercado, es decir, es la relación directa con el cliente y el productor.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls on the world to take collective action to help eliminate single-use plastic while addressing a UN conference of the party's COP meeting in the outskirts of New Delhi.
I believe the time has come for even the world to say goodbye to single-use plastic. This is going to render lands unproductive and unfit for agriculture. My government has announced that India will put an end to single-use plastic in the coming years. Be it harnessing water resources or reducing usage of single-use plastic, the way ahead is behavioral change. It is only when all sections of society decide to achieve something we can see the desired results.
Up next, a huge crowd takes Hong Kong protest message to the U.S. consulate. Iran's IAEA ambassador accuses the US and Israel of a plot. Mexico's foreign minister downplays risk of a clash with the US after a dialogue with President Trump. Plus, looking back on 9/11, we will take you to the reflecting pools in New York, standing on the footprints of the Twin Towers. Eagle News will be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News. I'm Anna Kui. Pro-democracy activists jammed Hong Kong streets in a march to the United States consulate on Sunday in a bid to ramp up international pressure on Beijing, but hardcore protesters later clashed with riot police across the city's core.
Basically, the Hong Kong government is sort of ignoring us, so there's no point of going that way anymore, which is the government center. What's the point anyway? What's the point of going to the government headquarters? They keep ignoring us anyway. So we just came here. Hopefully, the US will bypass the human rights law, which will punish those government officials who actually follow communist orders and destroying our human rights and freedoms.
We want to send a message to United States for encouraging them to pass the Act of Freedom and Human Rights. So today we're all here.
Millions have demonstrated over the last 14 weeks in the biggest challenge to China's rule since the city's handover from Britain in 1997. The protests were lit by a now-scrapped plan to allow extraditions to the authoritarian mainland, seen by opponents as the latest move by China to chip away at the international finance hub's unique freedoms. But after Beijing and city leaders took a hard line, the movement snowballed into a broader campaign calling for greater democracy, police accountability, and an amnesty for those arrested. Sunday's protests featured another massive turnout for a movement that has gripped the semi-autonomous territory and plunged it into a political crisis. Dense crowds of protesters spent hours slowly filling past Washington's consulate in the thick tropical heat. Many waved U.S. flags, some sang the Star-Spangled Banner, and others held signs calling on President Trump to, quote, liberate Hong Kong. In chants and speeches, they called on the U.S. to pressure Beijing to meet their demands and for Congress to pass a recently proposed bill that expresses support for the protest. Iran's ambassador to the International Atomic Energy Agency, Kazem Garib Abadi, accused the U.S. and Israel of a, quote, plot against Iran as he spoke after a meeting between the IAEA's Board of Governors in Vienna. The United States on Tuesday joined Israel on alleging, quote, possible undeclared nuclear activities by Iran, further straining European-led attempts to salvage a multinational deal.
Since 2 days before this session of the board, we are witnessing a U.S.-Israeli plot with the support of their affiliated media. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton's remark wishing to set an agenda for the visit of the acting Director General on the night that he was on his way to Tehran, along with the media campaign done by 2 news agencies, as well as the show played by the Israeli Prime Minister, all in all indicate that a joint project is underway, which each player is pursuing its own specific objectives. Hence, I would like to stress that any attempt to divert the constructive and proactive cooperation between Iran and the IAEA and exert undue pressure on the agency in this regard will receive appropriate actions by Iran.
What I'm asking is, how much are you going to produce? At what rate? What is your goal there?
To the extent that the country is in need.
Mexico's Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard tells reporters he had a friendly meeting at the White House with President Trump and that the risk of a confrontation between Mexico and the United States is getting further and further away.
Para concluir diría, bueno, el riesgo de una confrontación entre México y Estados Unidos cada vez está más lejos. Y esa es la tarea nuestra. La reunión transcurrió en términos amistosos, nada que ver con lo que vimos ayer de CBP, que para nosotros es un tono inaceptable. El día de hoy tuvimos una reunión amistosa y respetuosa. Le hice ver lo que implica en términos, la importancia que tiene para México las dos cosas, el tema migratorio y el tema de armas, porque es salillo. Entonces fue un saludo, pero sí un gesto de decir, bueno, vemos con buenos ojos lo que están haciendo, es lo que me dijo, y vamos a poner atención en lo que a ustedes también les preocupa, que es esto de las armas. Eso fue lo que me transmitió.
Looking back on the September 11 tragedy 18 years later, let us take you to the Reflecting Pools, a memorial standing on the footprints of the Twin Towers. Our New York bureau has this. Take a look.
On this 18th anniversary of the September 11th tragedy at the World Trade Center, the world stops to reflect and remember the thousands of innocent lives lost. People would now have a place to gather to remember and honor those who perished. The National September 11 Memorial opened on the 10th anniversary of the attacks in a dedication ceremony for victims' families. The memorial consists of 2 reflecting pools set in the footprints of the Twin Towers. The design, entitled Reflecting Absence, was selected from a design competition of more than 5,000 entries. Each pool is 1 acre in size. 30-foot waterfalls cascade down all sides. There are 2,983 names on the September 11 Memorial to honor the 2,977 people killed in 2001 in New York, at the Pentagon, and on Flight 93 in Pennsylvania, and for the 6 people killed in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. As a tribute, roses are placed upon the victims' names on their birthdays. More than 48 million people have visited the memorial since it opened, from all 50 states and more than 190 countries around the world. New Yorkers and all Americans will always remember the courage and resilience of the people who gave their lives on September 11th. Reporting from Lower Manhattan, this is Joanne Soriano for Eagle News, 1 with 25.
Apple unveiled the new iPhone 11 and said its Apple TV Plus service will launch on November 1.
iPhone 11 comes in 6 new colors with an all-new purple, white, yellow, green, black, and product red. It has a 6.1-inch liquid retina display with True Tone, wide color, tap to wake, and haptic touch in even more places with iOS 13, like contextual menus. Now camera. iPhone is the world's most popular camera, and it gets even better with iPhone 11. We have an amazing dual camera system with an all-new wide camera, with a new sensor with 100% focus pixels for faster autofocus, 3 times faster in low light. And we have a new ultra-wide camera with a 120-degree field of view. This will let you capture.
Apple set launch dates Tuesday for its original video offering, Apple TV Plus, and its game subscription service as the tech giant ramped up efforts to reduce its dependence on the iPhone. The TV Plus service will launch November 1 in more than 100 countries at $4.99 per month and will include a powerful and inspiring lineup of original shows, movies, and documentaries. Apple is featuring scripted dramas, comedies, and movies, as well as children's programs in the service, which will compete against streaming giants like Netflix and Amazon.
We shared the all-new Apple Arcade, a game subscription service unlike any other, coming to the App Store this month. And Apple TV Plus with powerful and unique Apple originals from today's most creative storytellers, coming to the Apple TV app beginning November 1st. The new iPhone 11, with its new dual camera system, powerful A13 chip, beautiful new finishes, and incredible capabilities. And of course, the stunning new iPhone 11 Pro with its jam-packed with advanced technologies designed to enable people to do even more than before.
Apple said customers who purchase an iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, iPod Touch, or Mac will get the first year of the service for free. The company's online gaming subscription service, Apple Arcade, will launch next week, offering exclusive titles for mobile and desktop users. The new service, which will also cost $4.99 per month, will include more than 100 game titles made for Apple devices. Apple was expected to launch new iPhone models at the event, but is also moving into new segments to compensate for slumping smartphone sales. Apple also unveiled updates to its iPad tablet and Apple Watch smartwatch. That is today's Eagle News. Join us tomorrow for the weekend edition. Visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenews and on Facebook at facebook.com/eaglenews. Thank you for watching. I'm Anna Kui, and I am 1 with 25.